Meal prep that is quick and easy and that will actually help you lose weight and stay on track with your fitness goals. If you are a busy girl like me, juggling literally a million things on your plate every single week, I am so happy you found your way here. I am going to show you some of my favorite high protein, balanced meals that you can prep in about 1 hour at the beginning of the week, and it'll save you so much time for the rest of the week ahead. I always say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And meal prepping is one surefire way that you are going to stay on track with your fitness goals, with your nutrition goals, and your overall diet. The recipes that I'm going to be sharing with you today are chicken thighs, sweet potatoes, my famous chia oats, along with roasted veggies and tuna salad. So let's begin. When we are meal prepping, we want to start with the foods that will take the longest to cook, so while it's cooking, we can work on other things. One of my favorite proteins to prep for the week ahead, because it's just easy to throw in salads, eat with some sides, whatever it may be, are chicken thighs. They're so easy, they're so simple, you throw it in the oven and it is done. We are going to begin with some high quality olive oil. Putting it on in generous amount. I have 2 packs of chicken thighs in here today. I don't really measure out the olive oil especially. I just kind of go for it. Next, we are going to take a full lemon. This really is my go-to chicken thigh recipe. It's actually even better if you let it marinate overnight, but it's just as good if you marinate while you are doing it and throw it in the oven. We added some garlic powder. I add garlic powder to everything. We're going to add in some smoked paprika. Give it a generous amount. Next, we have herbs de Provence. I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but I was inspired by someone else who was making chicken thighs on Instagram, and they were using the seasoning, and ever since then I bought it. I have been obsessed. It's basically just the compilation of a few different herbs. And then really simple, some salt and pepper. I think that it is so amazing to always have protein on hand because, again, even if I'm in a rush, I just worked out, it's the afternoon, I'm hungry, I need a little pick-me-up, you could either have a chicken thigh that you've prepped, or you could make a not-so-healthy choice, like a chip or a cracker, that is an empty carb and will leave you still hungry and wanting more. So you want to give this a good little mix. Once you've mixed it, you can add even more seasoning to the top. For all the chicken thighs that were at the bottom, we want to make sure that we are evenly seasoning here. I also like adding in some onion. It gives it more flavor, and when you roast them for a long time with the chicken thighs, they just get almost caramelized and so yummy, so delicious. I think the true key to actually enjoying your chicken, because I know a lot of people tend to stay away from chicken because they think it's boring and tasteless and not really a delicious meal that they will enjoy. The key is proper seasoning. You definitely don't want plain chicken, and adding something like onions, again, gives it that extra little flavor kick. So I put the onions right in the same bowl. Again, this is all about efficiency, making it easy, give it one final mix. What I also like to do, if I have time, is prep this in the morning, put it in a freeze lock bag, shake it all up. It's a little bit easier to mix, but this is totally fine as well. All right, the hard part is done. Let's get it in the oven. I am now placing the chicken on a lined baking tray with parchment paper. We of course want to also make sure that before we start prepping, we turn the oven on. The chicken thighs are going to be cooked for 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your oven. Keep an eye on them, and also depending on how crispy you like them. The temperature we are baking them at is 400. We want to make sure that they are nicely spread out as much as possible. Of course, they shrink and get smaller as they bake. All right, time to bake. Next up, we are making purple sweet potato. Sweet potato is such a great food to meal prep because it stays good in the fridge for even up to a full week. I feel like the taste doesn't really get compromised by prepping it. Sweet potato, if you don't know, is also a longevity food, but I'm also really obsessed lately with Japanese sweet potato. It is sweet and yummy and so delicious and a little bit something different than traditional sweet potato. Sweet potato is really great to make at the same time as your chicken thigh because they can go in the oven at the same heat, which again, it's all about maximizing time. You can make it in rounds, you can cut it in fry shapes. You really can make sweet potatoes in so many different ways. I'm going to cube it up, and then honestly, the seasoning is very similar to the chicken thighs. I keep it pretty easy and basic. One of the key things to keep in mind when prepping sweet potato is not adding too much olive oil. It ends up making the sweet potato a little bit soggy instead of crispy and delicious. So I would say just a tablespoon. You can always even add more olive oil once they are done roasting. So I've just added garlic powder. I am going to add a generous amount of salt. We of course have a little bit of olive oil. We are going to do some pepper. And again, that is literally it. Give it all a good little mix. And let's add it to the oven with the chicken thighs. In under 10 minutes, we already have a protein and a really amazing carb in the oven roasting while we begin to work on some other prep. I really also do love sweet potatoes because they are filling, but they are filled with so many amazing nutrients. I normally usually actually also prep a rice or a quinoa with bone broth. I did that yesterday. I prepped a big batch of quinoa for the week, which my boyfriend has already almost ate through. And a little tip when making any grain, add some ghee, add some bone broth into the water when you're making it, and it just makes that carb even more nutrient dense and can also help with blood sugar spikes when consuming. As you can see, the sweet potato and the chicken thighs are done. Look how crispy and delicious these are. And if you've never tried chicken thighs and you really only ever make chicken breasts, these are a must try. So delicious, so much flavor, and it makes chicken fun again. Need to make sure that I get some onion. I'm just gonna go in here like a savage. No fork. No knife. So tender. And this is why I love chicken thighs over chicken breasts. You can't mess them up. Pop them in the oven for 30-40 minutes and let the deliciousness unfold. Yum. Next up, we are prepping a breakfast item. So this recipe is my famous creamy protein oats. And today we're also going to mix in a little bit of chia. Depending on how much you want to prep, we're going to always put double the ratio of water to oats. I would say about 1 portion of oats is 1/4 cup. So I did 1 cup, which means 4 different portions for the week. I am adding 2 cups of water, but you can also do almond milk or any type of milk that you want to add in addition. Now that we have our oats in, we are going to add our egg whites. Yes, I know what you're thinking. You probably think it's really weird and like, why are we adding eggs to our oats? But it of course helps increase the amount of protein, and it also surprisingly makes the oats super creamy. So I'm going to add 2 egg whites. You can also add the yolk, but then I feel like it changes the flavor, so I like to keep it out. I like to add everything while the pot is on the actual stovetop and turned on. Again, this also saves time as opposed to putting everything in the pot first and then cooking it. Giving this a nice little stir, and we want to make sure we have it on medium heat. Next, I'm going to add in chia seeds. 1 to 2 tablespoons. Again, this adds extra protein, extra fiber. Another thing with oats and chia, I feel like it keeps me full for so long, which is another reason why I like it. This is, of course, great for breakfast, but also great as a post-workout or a snack prep. We're going to take the Truvani grass-fed collagen peptides. The scoop is buried in here somewhere, so I am just going to put 2 big spoonfuls of collagen in here and just keep mixing it. A little bit of cinnamon. You can also add honey or maple syrup. I add fruit and coconut yogurt, so I feel like that sweetens it up enough for me. And of course, especially if we're eating this in the morning, we want to try to avoid having sugar so that it doesn't spike our blood sugar and it keeps our hormones in check for the day ahead. The oats are now complete. I have them in my glass container. These will also stay good in the fridge for 4 to 5 days. Make sure that you are not having 1 cup of oats for 1 full portion. Again, I suggest taking about a quarter of this, adding some fruit, adding some nuts, maybe some coconut yogurt, a nut butter, whatever it may be, and make it a complete meal. I also love to have my protein creamy oatmeal with a side of either turkey bacon or with chicken sausage in the morning. It really just helps to make sure that I am staying full and satiated. Throwing in some veggie as there as well with maybe some cucumbers or something just really easy to chop up before you have the oats also really help stabilizing the blood sugar. So this is amazing. I'm gonna wait for it to cool, put it in the fridge, and let's move on to our tuna salad. So creamy, so delicious, and so perfect to have on hand for your entire week. I love tuna salad so much. It is so easy, it is so high in protein, and it is versatile really with anything. So you can put it in a lettuce wrap, you can also put it in a regular, healthy, low-carb wrap that you're having for lunch. You can mix it in with another green salad. There's so many delicious options when it comes to canned tuna. It should definitely be a staple in your weekly grocery shop. I wanted to get the exact macro, but there are 22 grams of protein right here. If your goal is even 100 grams of protein a day, here is 20%. Pretty amazing. I have 2 cans of tuna here, but honestly, you can use as many cans as you would like. This is a jalapeno flavor, so it actually already has carrots and jalapeno in there. But you wanna make sure that you are draining your tuna, getting it all in your mixing bowl. And then we are going to add some additional veg. So here we have some finely chopped onion, green onion, but you can really add any onion you prefer. Purple onion also works really well. This is easy and quick. Throw this on, and I am also going to add cucumbers. Celery would be another great one to add. It gives it that little extra crunch, but I did not include that in my grocery haul this week. I feel like the key to any really delicious salad is just making sure that everything that you're adding, especially the vegetables, are super finely chopped. Next, we're going to add in our mayo. I'm going to put the actual measurements on screen. Again, I always eyeball things, and the amount of mayo that we add is also going to depend on how creamy you like your tuna salad. This is also totally optional, but I like to add in some Dijon mustard as well. Gives it a little extra flavor. And now we are just going to mix it all on up. Something else you can add to this is avocado, but I recommend adding that when you go to eat it, because if you put the avocado in here, it's going to brown and then you're going to ruin your prep. So keep the avocado separate, but look how creamy and delicious this is. So great with crackers. Again, very versatile. You can even enjoy it quick on the go with some crackers, and it sits in the fridge very nicely. Adding some salt as a final touch, and voila. This is totally going to be my lunch today. Yum. Ooh, it's spicy. Oh, with the jalapenos. But so yummy and delicious. I'm probably gonna have this on lettuce wraps. So good. Now that we have one of our baking trays free and the oven is cleared, we are going to finish off with some vegetables. Also, by the way, I have lots of other videos on YouTube where I'm sharing breakfast, drinks, snacks that are also amazing for meal prep. I really think the basics 101 are at least 1 protein, 2 snacks, some vegetables, and a carb. If you can start with that, that is realistic, I think, for everyone. So here we have broccoli and cauliflower. They, of course, are going to bake at the same temperature in the oven. We're gonna set the oven to 350. It's already on from the sweet potatoes and the chicken thighs, but I am just going to turn down the temperature slightly to 350. You can roast it higher, but I prefer to keep them in a little bit longer and have them brown more evenly. I also like to chop it up a little bit so the pieces aren't so big. And again, I'm saving time by just doing this directly on the baking tray. I know how it is. We all want to save time when we can. So same thing here with the olive oil. We don't want to douse our veggies in it. We want to put just enough so that it's going to roast evenly. Like I mentioned before, garlic powder on everything. And then I'm also just going to keep it super simple today with salt and pepper. Mix it on up. And let's bake in the oven again at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Our final meal prep dish is complete, our roasted cauliflower and broccoli. I love squeezing some lemon on it to finish. You can also add more salt if you feel like you need it. Store it in the fridge. Again, it'll last all week. You can throw this in with your protein. You can add it to a salad. You can have it with a dip, maybe a hummus, so that you are getting full from your snack. And that is it. So simple. This was about 25 minutes. I like it a little bit more roasted, so it's more browned, as you can see. Let's try it. So yummy, especially with the salt. And there you have it, a few servings of vegetables. So let this video be your reminder that meal prep does not need to be complicated. This took me about an hour. I have 2 really good sources of protein. I have a carb, I have a breakfast, and some veg to get me through the majority of the week. This is the perfect place to start. Think of it as your meal prep 101. If you're looking for more inspo, I also post delicious, simple, and easy minimal ingredient recipes on my Instagram, on my TikTok every single week, so check that out. But if not, stick to the basic, make your chicken, make your veg, and let's make sure that we are prioritizing a healthy diet and healthy eats every single week. As always, thank you for tuning in and make sure to check out my latest video here.